Hey you guys, and today we're going to be taking a look at a line of products from a much less recognizable name than who they were started by. And I'm of course talking about the Period Arts Fan Company. Now, if you do not know who the Period Arts Fan Company is, ask yourself, who is the Modern Fan Company? Or what is the Modern Fan Company? Chances are you'll probably have an answer to that one over having an answer to this question here about who these guys are. Well, the Period Arts Fan Company was basically a division of the Modern Fan Company that didn't last very long, and these fans are more traditionally and more historically influenced, and they had a lot of darker finishes and more classic styles to them. And yeah, they didn't last very long. I believe they started this first edition here is in 2000, from like 2007, 2008. And instead of releasing a new catalog for Modern Fan around this time, the last one came out in 2005. The next one was, I believe, 2009. They introduced these, well, I should say they introduced this. This one's from like 2011 or 2012, I think. But anyways, yeah, basically they just wanted some more traditional designs. They moved a couple of the darker bronzy finishes over into this line, and then there were, of course, some new introductions as well. So we're going to start here with the 2007 catalog, or I should say 2008, more likely. So it opens up with two new designs that were new, at least at this point. We have the Arcadia and the Bodega. The Bodega is more of a hammered style, like a hammered finish style of the Lappa fan. And the Arcadia is kind of its own sort of unique, cool thing. Both of these feature sort of mica or mica glass shades. And then next up, we have the Prairie and the Library. Now, me and some good old friends of mine from the Great Fans and Blinds store, formerly Dan's Fan City, like to refer to these fans as the Ugly Birdhouse fan. And they're still not my favorite design in the world. I think they're kind of ugly birdhousey. But they still definitely do have their pretty unique designs. And this one here is the Prairie, and then this one is the Library. Some very nice mission-style designs there. And then we've got the Flute and the Eclipse. Now, these are two fans we already know about and have already seen that they just moved over to this catalog since they were in a much darker, more traditional finish. And then same goes for the Altus and the Lappa here. As you can see, there is the Altus and then the Lappa. I absolutely love the way that this one looks. It's one of my favorite fans. And they also added the Mica light kit for that one as well. And then finally in the back, we've got the Industry, which they just completely moved over here as well. Even though this finish is a bit more modern and contemporary, they still put that one in here as well. And then these two finishes over there were removed from the catalog. And basically everything you see here, except for that galvanized Industry, became exclusive to the Period Arts catalog. They weren't featured in the Modern Fan catalog, if they were previously at all. Anyways, let's go take a look at this one from 2012, which had a couple other designs added to it. Actually, by a couple, I literally mean a couple, two of them. So here's the opening page. And the two newer designs for this year were the Schoolhouse and the Paris. Now, the Schoolhouse is just like some of the other standard fans. So both of these are very similar to some of the other fans, like the Library and the Prairie and the Bodega. Or not the Bodega, but the Arcadia. Only difference is the light on the bottom. This one here's got a schoolhouse style, whereas the Paris has more of an Art Deco influenced design, as you can see there. And I really love the way both of these fans look. They're some of my favorites that came out of this line. Then once again, we've got the Altus and the Lappa back again here. Same for the Arcadia and the Bodega. And the Prairie and the Library are also still here, along with the Flute and the Eclipse, and then, of course, the Industry as well. And then there's that back again, and there's the back cover. So, yeah, this is this name probably isn't as well known as the Modern Fan Company name. It didn't last very long after, so this one came out in 2012, and then I believe the next catalog to come out was the 2013 Modern Fan Company, which introduced fans like the Tour Scion. I'm probably still pronouncing that wrong. And they also had, I believe, the Flow and a couple other designs like the Solus. But anyways, On a couple of those, they introduced bronze finishes, and then they slowly just quit keeping up with this line, and then eventually when they redid some of their fans, made them DC, and then redid other things, the period arts line just basically went away. Like, the dark colors for, like, the Lappa and the flute and a couple of them other designs sort of got reintegrated back in the line. Some of them I do believe were discontinued. The Altus was another one where that sort of happened, so this is a name that didn't last very long, but there were some really, really neat designs that came out of it, and I honestly don't see them much. The only time I ever saw a period arts fan in person, and I do not count the industry as that started off as a modern fan thing. It was introduced in 2000, and the copper finish was available there. But anyways, the only time I'd ever seen one was, I believe, the library fan that was introduced at that was installed at the Great Fans and Blinds store. And yeah, that was like the only time I ever saw one in person. Otherwise, it was just in these two catalogs. This one I got absolutely ages ago, and then this one I got when Great Fans closed. There was nothing different or special in there, but I still wanted to take it home with me anyways. So yeah, that's about all I've got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.